Welcome back to the Empowered Mom Show, where we keep exploring how to spot and derail manipulative tendencies in your relationship before they erupt into resentment and rejection. I'm your host, Angelica Isis Azura. Today, our guest is Anaiya Sophia. Anaiya Sophia is a mystic and author of several books, and one of her latest books is Fierce Feminine Rising, which I am reading now and would recommend it to read to you because it's just an amazing and enlightening reading. And I'm so blessed to interview Anaiya Sophia. Welcome, Anaiya Sophia.
Hey, Angelica, really good to be here again.
Yeah, and just so blessed. What we are going to talk today is about how to heal from predatory relationships, which is something very close to me. And I would like to start by asking you, what is a predator?
Well, let's just jump in at the
Yeah.
book, Fierce Feminine Rising, Heal from Predatory Relationships and Recenter Your Personal Power. That's my latest book. That's what you're reading. That's what I went through. And I also believe in some level, we are all interacting with some kind of predatory relationship, some kind of predatory presence at a very subtle level, which we can call the matrix, which we can call the old world. But do not be mistaken in thinking that this body of work is just for men and women who have had predatory and narcissistic partners. No, no, no. That's a good place to start. But I do believe years, maybe months from now, we will be able to look back and go, oh my God, the whole lifestyle has been built on this energy. And I feel the number one and perhaps only one reason why is because this is the perfect circumstance for us men and women to turn within and find that fierce pillar of authentic presence and to step out against this energy and say, enough. It's not to kill it off because we can't kill it off, but it's to assume our clean and rightful power again in harmony, in balance, strangely enough, with this energy. That is what you had to face. That is what I had to face. And I do believe that is what we will all have to face. All of us humans on this power to just wake up and come out of the slumber and to rise and to stand again as members of this new humanity we are mutating our way into.
Yeah. I wanted to say it's so true. It's not just the partner in your life you meet or someone in your relationship as a predator. I can't. Um, the plastic invasion. It's one predator. The pesticides being sprayed everywhere. When I shrink, I I live around. Around the cane field, and when they come and spray, I feel it. It's like they're spraying me, and I feel the planet screaming at me. She just can't handle it. The cows, when I look at their eyes, it's just something I can't handle them being. I rented a farm, and the guys would come and collect the cows to sell.
Mm.
it's it's
Mm.
it's just you can't witness that. You witness that your whole body, what can I do, you
Mm.
know? So I just wanted to validate that it's just everywhere where you look, and we need to actions, what we need to do, how can I
Mm.
help. You can't really ignore the wi-fi's being at school, where just the children's skull is just developing, the whole
Mm.
thing. apparently the radiation in the shop where you do the shopping is so high from the
Mhm.
Wi-Fi. You would get fried. But because
This is
we've
absolutely
been bombarded this, it's like you like a frog boiled slowly. You're getting used to it.
yeah,
We don't
yeah,
notice it. When I noticed, I moved, sorry to take this as this, I moved from tablelands where I had a pure source of water. I moved where there is a city source of water, and there's this smell of chlorine, and it was bothering me for a couple of weeks, and then it stopped bothering me because I got,
mm, yeah.
yeah,
It's as if we have one foot in the old world, which is the one you've just described,
yeah,
and thankfully we have one foot in the new world that's starting to appear every now and again. And this old world has got so dense, we've allowed it to become so shadowy that it itself is now the predatory energy. And we are being slowly, slowly shunted and backed into this corner where it seems very, very likely that one day soon we are going to erupt and just rise and take our foot out of the old world and stand with 2 feet in the new, allowing the old to fall into chaos and to transmute itself into something else, which will hopefully be much more in harmony with what needs to be upon the planet now. So
yeah,
yes, this dark force, it is cruel, it is harmful, and it hurts deeply. But I believe that it is also our greatest ally. It is forcing us to become awake.
yeah. It comes to the point where you just can't ignore it.
No, I hopefully it will come. Me and you, it's come to us where we can't ignore it anymore. But it's got to come to
Yeah,
everybody, every single heart on this planet.
yeah. I believe when you encounter predator in your life, like real life, there is some luck in it. Because you forced, it's like, okay, you can't ignore me anymore.
Hmm.
I
Mm.
am right here,
Yeah,
and you've got to face me. Because otherwise, I'm
absolutely.
just going to kill you.
Absolutely. I'm going to steal your light.
Yeah, I'm going to steal your life, steal
Yeah,
your soul,
that's
steal
right.
your
It
heart.
doesn't want to kill us because that's the end of the game. How boring. It wants to just keep on taking the light, the essence, the innocence, the purity, the belief, the faith, the creativity, all the good stuff.
Yeah,
And what is it going to do with it? It's going to squash it. It's not going to take the light and bring the light to its own nature and lighten itself up. No, no, no. It's going to squeeze it into a little ball and just throw it over its shoulder. It's like an extinguishing force. It wants to extinguish us.
yeah,
But that is what it presents. It's like, hello, I'm going to extinguish your light. You gonna do anything about that? You could like rise up and challenge me or something. Because
yeah. It
that
didn't do
is,
anything.
I believe, the absolute idea. This is the absolute reason why it's come. Are you going to challenge me or are you going to just let me take it?
Yeah,
The absolute outcome is that we rise
yeah,
and take on the challenge, but we cannot become like it because if we become like it, it wins.
yeah. Yeah, no, you can't become like it. You just, I tried.
Yeah, me
I
too.
actually did. I tried. It just didn't sit well in the heart.
No.
And I woke up. I'm like, oh, I can't deal with, I can't do this. And then I had to come to terms that I've been using these kind of methods myself.
Yeah.
With my previous partners, they were not very happy with me, I suppose. But I just had to face that. So
Yeah.
I tried to play the game of the predator,
Mm.
and then I got predated too,
Yeah.
till I had to like, okay, I
Yeah.
can see you.
Yes. Yeah. There's no gift in being the predator.
Yeah, can I ask you, is there the way can we spot the predator?
I believe our beautiful intrinsic body spots it immediately, and it tells you by waving a little red flag on the inside. But if we have an agreement in place
Yeah.
to be with a predatory influence, that agreement is going to get fulfilled. I saw my red flags. And if I missed them, my friends and family were absolutely clear with passing their message on. Hello, red flag, that person you're hanging out with, no good. Leave. But I ignored my own red flags and I ignored their advice because I had an agreement in place. Probably like you, Angelica,
Yeah.
you kind of did know in the beginning.
I
And
did
I bet,
after 3 weeks. I
I
did.
bet you,
First date, I was like, I
yeah,
have this red flag. He drinks too much. I knew it.
yeah.
10 years.
That's what I mean. The agreement is in place. We are going to take the path anyway.
You're taking the path
Because,
anyway. Yeah.
yeah, there's something really, really important on this path for us, an essential piece. And this is what we were talking about before we pressed record. Those of us who really have to do the full dance will probably recognize that they have been interacting with an inner predatory force since they were kids, since they were in their childhood. For me, this was dreams of the devil. An evil entity was hunting me. It used to come when I had a fever, when I had earache. And I was a very prayerful child. I prayed every single day. So I was like really concerned when I saw this evil influence in my feverish childhood dreams. So when I started to look at this, only probably 7 years ago, when I was on my healing journey, I turned towards Carl Jung, and he had a great understanding of the inner predator, which really made sense to me because I had been dreaming of an evil being from the age of 5, 6, and 7. So I was like, oh, finally, I'm starting to get a bit of sense around this.
Yeah.
And of course, that evil being was appearing so evil because it was my own repressed and silenced screams from my own terror in childhood. And my terror was a 50% violent father and a 50% loving father. And that was enough to create this terror inside of me. I had no brother or sister, so I couldn't turn to anyone. My mum was of an age where she didn't know how to deal with it either, so it was just put under the carpet. And so that isolation and that anxiety of living, I mean, I was 19 by the time I left school, so we could, not school, home, so that's 19 years I had lived in the same house as a fearful character, my dad, who I absolutely love and adore. But at that time, it was 50-50. It was a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
Is he going to be loving or is he going to be angry and violent and frightening? And that is what the inner predator, that's the perfect surroundings. It's a prolonged period of fear. It's not a shock. It's not like, suddenly out of the blue, your dad's violent. No. It's a long, and you're in this period. It's like a prison. I had a 19-year prison sentence. I had to live with this thing, and it was in my dad, who I loved and cherished, and he was my little god. So that is how the inner predator gets formed. And that is why I dreamt of evil beings chasing me and hunting me, because in those 19 years, I didn't have a healing environment to be able to lay down and process all of these emotions. So it took on an entity inside of me, which I ignored and ran from. And of course, it eventually showed up in the guise of another human being, a man, upon which I had a very tumultuous relationship with. And that was when I had to look at all of this properly and turn up as a living woman. I had to mother my own little girl at those times of violence because my mum wasn't able to do that. My mum was dealing with the violent man before her. So I had to turn up for little Julie, that's my birth name. And I had to see those things again with the inner world and be my own warm-hearted, protective mother.
Yeah.
And I must say, since I've been doing that inner work, occasionally that little influence will show up in a nightmare, but I know it for what it is now. One day it's going to turn into my greatest, most powerful protector. And it is giving me insight and discernment to know when that presence is around anymore. Like the other day, for instance, Pete and I, we saw the most perfect house and land. One of my dreams is to open up an animal sanctuary. And this property was absolutely appearing to be the dream house and land. Then I heard a little local story that this house has a little connection with black magic. So it was an immediate no. But if I hadn't done my inner work, might have been naive enough to think, oh, it's okay, it'll be fine. I can change that energy into a healing environment, which I could have done. But my little inner predator went, no, we don't need to go there. And so that is how I can see the fruit of this work is coming. Do I have any predatory energy around me or in any of my relationships right here, right now? No. So my horizon is looking good. And I can see it and smell it at 100 paces. And I'm not interested anymore. I used to like the idea that I could heal this, that me and this person could come into balance and we'd all live happily ever after. No. Now I just turn in the opposite direction. I don't want to play.
I had that idea too, and until I completely went down with that energy because I was losing my memory and I almost lost everything what I had about myself, which is a good thing because it was not the truth. Anyway, but what I wanted to say that I can so resonate with your childhood because I did have frightened dreams. And yes, I used to pray because I was scared of darkness. I was petrified at night, and I grew up with no love. My mom abandoned me with my grandmother. But then my brother, I did have brother and sister, but I wasn't that close with them when I was a child. And my brother actually physically abused me for a long time. I didn't feel safe to come home.
Of course not. No, no.
So it wasn't, yes. So that's like a long period of time. I
That's
lived
right.
that trauma, and I developed a tolerance to it.
Yep, that's it. You learn to cope.
You just learn to cope.
Yeah.
You go there because you're young. You don't have where to go. I tried to run away, but I didn't know where am I going to go in Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's just nowhere to go. So 23 years of terror. And when I was free, I was already conditioned.
Yes.
And
We were also talking earlier about a woman being 16 times more powerful.
yes.
So if you can imagine that terror and that, I can remember, you know, you'd hear your dad put the key in the lock, or maybe for you, your brother, and immediately your system clenches.
You claim.
How is he going to be?
Yeah.
Is he going to be loving, or is he going to be in a bad mood?
Yeah.
So there's the energy right there. But because we're in the female form, whoa, that now really ricochets through our body.
Yeah.
16 times more emotional currency and current. That is what makes the inner predator.
Yes.
We
It's
are talking
like
about an
powered
extreme
energy. Yeah.
psychic force. Yeah. And it's beautiful. What heals it? The benevolent mother. The mother. The tenderness, the gentleness, the sweetness, the embrace, and the fierceness.
Yeah.
We need to hear a mother say, sweetheart, I see what you're dealing with right now, and together we shall protect you from this. Because that's what I wanted to hear as a little girl.
Yes. Yeah. Me
So it's
too.
the feminine. The feminine is the energy that heals and balances itself against or alongside the predator.
Yeah.
This is not masculine work at all. We do not need any male energy. It's the mother. We were missing the benevolent, fierce, black mama bear. So we have to become it.
Yes. 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 It's that mothering energy, because this is what when I feel my little girl, I turn the same feeling what I have for my girls. So I just
Yeah.
it's, I just wanted to mention this, if for mothers who are listening, just turn that love, motherly love, we have it. Very easy to connect with that love to your inner child. If you've got like physical children around, then it becomes like that, because you know the feeling, you're familiar.
Yeah.
And for me, I had to become a mother, I guess, because I was just way down the spectrum
Yes.
into
Yes.
the hinterland.
Yeah. I did some really, I do believe we have to ritualize this. We have to really get this into our body, into our cells. So luckily I was able to get my hands on my little 1-year-old dresses. One day when my mum came to visit, I said, Mum, when you come to visit, can you just bring some childhood stuff? So she brought a little lemon yellow, frilly 1-year-old dress, a little pair of socks, and a plastic band that went around my hand when I was born. These are holy relics. This got me into Julie. I made a little altar. I had little pictures of me as a baby and 5-year-old and baptism and, you know, all of those milestones. So my Julie-ness was really alive. And because I could handle my dress and my little socks and my hospital band, I now had psychic gateway. I had entrance. I had permission. Hey, you know, do you have permission to come in? Oh, yes, your name's on the list. Come on in. And that is how I did it. Because I think if I'd have just sat around praying and meditating and hoping for a good outcome, but because I had my hands on that dress, I could smell it.
Yes.
This was me. I had a way in. And that's how I believe I got into the real psychic quagmire of it all.
Yeah.
So you could do that through dresses, you could do that through books, you know, childhood toys that you handled and played with. Something I believe you need to hold on to something if you can. Photograph.
Yes, I've got toys
See
around
your
me.
eyes. Hey, perfect.
My friend gave it to me a long time ago. So yeah, this bear, and I have
Yeah.
another my favorite toy.
Yeah.
I do have I wanted to say also like drawing with your left hand will put you
Oh,
right
of
back
course.
because with a non-dominant hand
Yeah.
you would understand how not easy that was doing
Yeah.
something or
Yeah.
even starting something really new like you have no idea what it is. And when you
Mm.
go, like when I went to do karate, like I was so hopeless. Didn't know where to put the hand. You collapse back then, and it's just like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I know nothing. Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant
I do
suggestion.
have the wristband, by the way.
Oh, wow.
I do have it, but my mom didn't save any clothes, so that's kind of like gone. But the wristband I do have, and
There
these are
you go.
relics. Ladies, get them, get them.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Very important. So, what are the gifts of the predator? Can we
The
summarize
gift
it?
of the predator is, I feel, and has been my experience, is sovereignty, power, protection, discernment, awareness of intuition. Um, it's a power, but it's a clean power. It's an awake power. It's not a power over. It's just a power that arises. Voice speaking out, protecting self and others. So this is what's happened to me. It rose within me. But as it rose within me, I'm immediately starting to look out for others who are in danger, for others who are in this circumstance, like my mum was. That's probably what's happening. I knew my mum was in danger. And so years later, when I became an adult, I now stand for those women in danger because all I'm trying to do is help my mum. And so now obviously I work with women in this field. So this is the great big gift. We become an advocate of what we were afraid of.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what has happened to me. This frightened little girl is now a strong woman who is opening sacred space for women to step into and to make sure that they're not in that circumstance ever again or ever. So
Yes.
that is probably, I mean, look at you, you're doing this summit. You're already rising and providing sacred space for women to not enter what you entered or to get themselves out with awareness.
Yes.
So this is huge. This immediately tells me the gift is a collective gift. It's a gift to the one, but within moments that one turns to her community and widens the sacred space to include more than just her. So it's, to me, this says this is a paradigm healing. It's a gift to the collective.
Yeah.
Because the journey is so immense, it's so massive. You can't keep it to yourself. It's too big.
No.
It's not meant for just the self. It's meant to explode out into the community and bear all sorts of good fruit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's this power what rose in me. Well, I was still in the relationship, but I could feel something that with my voice, I started like blasting my husband. He would retreat. I
Mm,
can't, something would come from the inside, like you said, and it was not a domineering, it's that voice of truth. I would
mm,
open my mouth and I would tell, and that energy would just keep him away. He would retreat, even though
mm,
he was way much more stronger than me.
mm,
That truth,
mm,
the real truth, we gotta speak it, that truth. Gotta
mm,
open your mouth. And I remember I said that I will not keep my mouth shut after that anymore. Even though I get frightened from time to time, and sometimes I do get silenced anyway. But then I get up and then cuddle, and we've got to speak again.
Yes.
Yes.
Where is your accent from?
I'm from Ukraine. Yeah.
Okay, because when you speak, I just get a sense of so many beside you, behind you. It's like you are the you're the spearhead. Your accent to me is just like moving stuff on the inside of my being. So my roots is Celtic, Viking, Irish. So I guess your roots is like Eastern Europe.
It's Eastern and also Romanian.
Right.
I've got a bit of Slavic, and I am half Moldovan from Romania, from that side. So it's all coming. I have no nationality. I've been bilingual from birth and knew 2 languages in the beginning, then 3 languages, then 4 languages, and living in different countries. And it's all kind of like now I reside in Australia, but I don't really feel any culture. I'm just a person, a human, a woman. This is how.
Do you sense that you are working so strongly and so deeply with the women of your ancestors and country? Have you sort of quietly sort of owned that on the inside?
No. You
maybe
who is saying
might want to consider that.
Maybe I didn't. This is very interesting because there's one of my friends who keeps telling me you have to go back to your roots, and I left, and it's been yes. Women in those countries when I was there, they extremely disempowered. I don't know the dynamics now, but when I grew up, it was men. You have no value. You have a value if a good man is with you.
Yes.
And they sell themselves. I don't know how it is now, so I don't want to generalize if any women from those countries are listening now, but it's extremely disempowering because they think of themselves in relation to the man, and this is how I was. I was thinking about myself to the relation with the man. I did not see myself as a person, as a woman without the man. It had to be a man, and I became a predator to get the man. I had to get a good man because my self-esteem depended on who is going to be next to me. And I projected also that this is the source of love, what I never had, and someone has to adore me because I didn't have that. No one adored me, and I didn't have that. And been quite a male hunter, I would say. At one point, I woke up to this, and it was a horror because I didn't see myself without a man.
Yeah. You are most definitely speaking now on behalf of thousands of millions. This is an ancestral, this is a cultural, this is a country's female cry you are speaking right now.
I never. It was like that, and there is even when I left my husband, my mom still keeps saying, "You want to go back? You know, you've got to go back to where you belong." And for a woman, I find it there is this ancestral karma. There's this I'm the first woman in my clan to actually dare
Mm-hmm.
to live the life based on my inner power, to dare to actually say that I have a talent, a gift, something to live and to be free, to
Mm-hmm.
express it.
Oh.
and and that's why it's so hard to take off, because they all like, there was no one before me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are, that's what I mean. You are the spearhead. You are the first one to step out and break the mold and choose your direction. You've ended up in Australia. You don't have to go back and live there, but maybe a visit, you know, go back to certain places, perhaps school, perhaps where you lived, you know, some work, do some work there.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything. You just have to be true to yourself. But I
Yes.
just need to acknowledge and honor just how radical you are being.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So let's come to how can we heal from predatory relationships? Because the healing, the coming back to after this is something, a hell of a journey.
Hell is the right word.
Hell, and I'm not gonna be afraid to use this word, hell.
No. So, as I was saying earlier, the feminine, the benevolent, the comforting, the blessing, the kind, the safe feminine is the healing medicine. So I feel from my journey, this is what we've got to seek out. So it's a win-win situation because it brings us into the quality of feminine we most need and most need to become for
Yeah,
self and the collective.
yeah,
So once you've stepped away, because step one is stepping away. Step one is realizing there is nothing you can do to heal this relationship with the predator. So that is such a major step. So just dropping it completely and walking away, step one. Step two, ideally, you do place yourself in a safe environment. This might be your own flat, your own apartment. It might be a little house sit. That's where I went. I did some house sitting where not too much is being asked of you. But for some of us, like you, Angelica, you had your girls to raise. So you can't just stop. You've got two little precious angels you have to be attending to. So what you can do is just bring in that benevolent feminine energy. And that might be like your little teddy bear. It might be a really squishy, extra special double bed. You need safety. You need comfort. You need warmth. You need goodness.
yeah.
So yes, I had my private little house sit, but I had no one bringing that lovely, sweet energy to me. So I found it in a park. I found it in, I think it was Highgate Park. It was a little cherry tree in full blossom. So it was about April, May time. That was my benevolent mother energy. Every day I'd walk to that tree, notice a few more blossoms, sit underneath it, feel the protection because it was like an umbrella of pink blossoms. And I could feel, I know for a fact that this tree was interacting with me. And that umbrella was like an embrace. And I just sat under there with my journal and wrote out all of my strangeness. And that was my mother energy. So we have to take it really slow. And as you say, piecing ourselves back together very, very slowly. little peace will arise in the heart. We'll have a good old cry, and we bring it back to the growing woman inside of us. And it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You've got to go searching for your pieces because they have just exploded, and you've got to go and get them, retrieve them one at a time, quietly, gently, with huge amounts of love, huge amounts of rest. And slowly, 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 you piece yourself back together, which is an entire rebirth. You are the mother, you are the child, you are recreating yourself again. And the glue is your own sovereignty. So as you find a piece, you put glue around the outside, which is sovereignty, authenticity. You slot that little piece back into the larger piece. By the time you are intact, and it's the same for human skeletons, whichever bone gets broken, when it's healed, it is the strongest bone in the body. That is what we become, the strongest woman, because of the amount of
this is the
brokenness.
ultimate gift of the predator.
Discernment.
Because after this encounter, you put together yourself in such an authentic way.
Yes.
You get the chance.
Yeah.
It's a gift to get this chance. You might not see it in the moment.
No.
Because yes, there's a lot of crying, but with that everything is lost.
Yes.
Not everything. Apparently, it's not everything, and you will find this proof. It's a journey, and I just wanted to encourage the audience to read your book. There is very interesting perspective on predatory energy there. So I like how you describe that. And I did have my tree, mango tree.
Ah.
Mango trees. I do happen to love mangoes very much. And when I see mango, I come and I say, Mother. And they give me their fruit, and I cuddle them, and yeah.
Absolutely. There it is again. You know, it's the mother. It's the mother that puts this energy in the right place. And I'm writing at the moment about, I'm retelling the story of the Pistis Sophia, which is an old Gnostic text, the fall of Sophia. And this is the story. And again, it's the mother part that eventually puts everything in the right place. And then the whole paradigm, according to the Pistis Sophia, shifts and changes. So this is, not only is this a personal story or a collective story, this is a myth.
Yeah.
This predatory dance with the feminine is a myth. This is a thousands-year-old story.
Yeah.
This is fascinating. So it's not just like, oh, me and you got burnt. No. This story is everywhere. And of course, it's not a man and woman story. It's a masculine and a feminine story. I know for a fact men can be listening to this, nodding their heads, going, I am absolutely interacting with a predator in woman form.
Yeah. Definitely, because of course I can relate to that, because like I mentioned before, that I wasn't really a really nice woman all the time. So very negative and not a happy partner. So yeah.
I find it interesting because, you know, in Europe we're really interacting now with the coronavirus. I don't want to bring, like, you know, any heavy subject, but again, it's the same thing. The
Yeah, what can be
coronavirus is a
heavier than a
virus.
predator?
It's a predator.
It is
And
a
what
predator.
I love about this is it's the tiniest little predator. You can't even see it. So here is the predator again. And that's what I mean. At some point, this is going to affect everybody, not the coronavirus, but this energy,
Yeah.
because it is perhaps sent to us
Yeah.
in order to come into connection with the most authentic feminine embodiment. What this is going to look like and sound like and stand as, I don't know. But that is where I feel it is going and is asking us to become, to endorse, to step into. You know, so many of these predators are, you know, big enemies. They're big things. Yay, we can bomb that, we can kill that. But this little coronavirus, the tiniest little thing, I just find this fascinating. I haven't quite fully contemplated it yet. But
Yeah,
rather than,
me too. I've been ignoring it, but I
oh,
have
I've been paying
to
a
look it.
lot of
You know, I've been ignoring it, but the inner truth is like, oh, come on, it's bringing me. So yeah, I've been watching some videos and trying to contemplate it myself. My girls had some mysterious tummy ache, and it's been here clocking.
Oh yeah, it's in our psyche, whether we're reading it or not. We're aware of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I would love to ask you about your free gift.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So the free gift is a transmission. It's my voice, and the title is called "Standing Your Ground." So it's kind of like a mystical story I'm telling. And it will hopefully take you on a journey on your inside where you can find parts of you that are willing to stand your ground and to bring you a sense of that on the inside so that you can really taste it and hear it and feel it rising inside of you, so that, you know, when you really do have to embody that, hopefully you've gone through the rehearsal via the transmission, you know, via the storytelling, and you'll remember, oh my God, here is that moment, I've got to stand my ground for real. So it's kind of like a rehearsal. That's how I see the transmissions. I see them as stories, but they are stories that definitely rouse energy. They recalibrate and reconfigure energy on the inside, giving you a taste of where you might one day need to go. And that's the free gift, a transmission. Stand your
That
ground.
is a very beautiful gift. I want to encourage the audience to please click the button below to download this beautiful gift. Please. I also, as you were mentioning this beautiful gift, I just wanted to have this honoring mention one more time about your book, The Fifth Feminine Rising. It is an initiation. So the way you read it, it's the words. It is a beautiful written transmission, and it has an oral transmission. It's included there.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So this is just an honorable mention for this beautiful book for the audience to understand, because I bought it for one reason. When I started reading, the whole energy is beautiful. So
Yes,
take a look. Take a
I
look.
could just
Take a look. It's really one of is worth reading.
the book comes with 6 web links.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get 6 transmissions that go with it, and of course the audio book is out there too. And I've recorded that, and I sort of recorded it in the transmission zone.
Is the audio?
And
Because I was trying to get the audio book, couldn't find it. Anyway,
oh,
put
it's
link
out
is
now. It's out now. It came out a month later after the book.
Pardon?
Yeah, it's out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there anything would you like to add before we finish?
Just a lovely, heartfelt, warm, caring blessing to everybody who might be going through this or who have gone through this. And I just want to say, all is well, all will be well. You are in the most powerful initiation that's possibly available because you're ready, because massive part of you wants and is healing. And I just want to really touch that part on the inside that might be tired and weary and confused by it all. I just want to bring any mother energy I might have to that place and just soothe it.
Yeah. Oh, this is beautiful. Um, Thank you so much for this wonderful interview. I wanted to say to the audience that you've been hanging out with Angelica Isis Azura and Anaiya Sophia. Please stay tuned for the next episode of the Empowered Moms Show. Thank you, Anaiya. Bye for
Thank
now.
you. Bye.